On January 26, 2003, Anime on DVD released a statement from John Sirabella, the founder of Media Blasters. This statement revealed that the company had acquired the rights to the 12 Kingdoms anime series and that it was going to be released that year. But if you were interested in the novels that the anime was adapted from, there wasn't any news about them there. However, later in the year, it looked like fans would be able to enjoy the 12 Kingdoms both on screen and on the page. On August 9th, at that year's Otakon, a familiar face broke some interesting news. During the Media Blasters panel, John Sirabella announced that Del Rey had acquired the rights to the 12 Kingdoms novels and were going to translate and publish them. Unfortunately, this wasn't true. Later that month, Dallas Maddow, the director of Del Rey's manga program, confirmed to Anime News Network that Del Rey had not licensed the 12 Kingdoms, and that the announcement at Otakon was caused by a misunderstanding. But all hope wasn't lost. Even though they hadn't acquired the license, Del Rey did say that they were interested in licensing the novels in the future. But as time passed, that was starting to feel less and less likely. Media Blasters DVD started hitting store shelves in the summer of 2003. And even when the 10th and final volume was released on March 22, 2005, there was still no news about the novels. Fast forward to May of 2006, and Tokyopop announced that they would start publishing young adult novels under their new brand Pop Fiction. Several days later, Newsarama released a feature story with more information about Tokyopop's new project. And on the second to last line of the feature, it stated, quote, "One other big title under the Pop Fiction imprint is Fuyumi Ono's popular The 12 Kingdoms series of novels, slated for March 2007, end quote. On January 17, 2007, a Tokyopop press release formally announced that the first volume of the 12 Kingdoms, Sea of Shadow, would hit store shelves in the US that March, and that it would be released with a hardcover. While fans in North America would finally be able to add the series to their collections, things moved a lot slower than they expected. While the first volume was released on March 13, 2007, the second book, Sea of Wind, wasn't released for another year, hitting store shelves on March 11, 2008. Unfortunately, this wasn't a one-off. Tokyopop continued to release one new volume a year, with the fourth volume, Skies of Dawn, arriving on March 2, 2010. But after that, there was no word about when the next one would be released. Even after Skies of Dawn was released in paperback in November, there was no news about Volume 5. In an effort to get more information about its release, Nurse McQuaid on the Anime News Network forums reached out to Tokyopop, and while they did receive a response, it wasn't good news. Quote, "Unfortunately, the rights for the rest of the novels are back with Kodansha, so it'll be up to Kodansha USA as to whether we see Volume 5 and onward anytime soon." End quote. They followed this up by reaching out to Kodansha USA. According to Tatsuya Morimoto, a licensing manager at Kodansha, quote, "Right now, we have no plan to publish the rest of the series in English, unfortunately, but we are still seeking opportunities to make it happen in the near future." End quote. Unfortunately for fans, this never happened, and it looked like the series' English releases would end at the fourth novel. Then, more than a decade later, Seven Seas made a surprise announcement. On November 20, 2024, Seven Seas Entertainment announced that they had acquired the rights to the 12 Kingdoms. They would be releasing the novels in English with a brand new translation, and the first volume would hit store shelves in July of 2025. A couple of months later, in January 2025, they announced that they had worked with Fuyumi Ono to determine the release order. The new translation would split some books into multiple parts and release The Demonic Child where it fits in the story chronologically instead of as Volume 0, bringing the total number of volumes for this new translation to 15. On July 1st, 2025, the first volume of the new translation, Shadow of the Moon, Shadow of the Sea, Part 1, was released. And unlike the Tokyopop release, readers wouldn't have to wait a year for the next volume. Books 2 and 3 were both released in 2025, and books 4 and 5 are both scheduled to be released in the first half of 2026. After all this time, it looks like the 12 Kingdoms is finally back on track to be fully released in English.